Shalom. This is Rabbi Lemming, back from the dead. Hello to everyone. As you can see, since we last met and discussed Tshuva, there have been lots and lots of changes. For one, I was beaten brutally by a small Arab boy who I let in my house out of love and served him cookies. If you saw the last show, you will know that the shear was yummy. It was going well. And then, unfortunately, I saw that the small Arab boy, who is no more, I will explain, Abdul, was turning on the gas in my home. I said, if you recall, Abdul, please don't turn on the gas. I bring you into my home out of love. He ignored me. Then I saw him sharpening the knife, and I told him, please put down the knife. And I called for my wife and implored for her to call the Mishtara, the police. And then the horror began. I tremble to think of it. Where shall we begin? As you can last recall, I cowardly fell down to the floor and screamed, blood-curdling screams. Horrible, absolutely horrible. But it was worse than you can even imagine. As you can see, I'm often known for my good looks. I don't mean to brag, but Baruch Hashem, I was blessed with Hadras Panim. Some Rabbanim have a certain spark of the divine grace, and I believe there was a certain aesthetic quality to Rabbi Lemming's face and body. However, as you can see, I look a bit monstrous now. Let me explain. You cannot see my hands, but it is missing, my left hand is missing 3 fingers from where the small boy Abdul bit them off. We are hoping maybe to reattach them next week in a new age surgery. However, there is no such promise, and so I may only have these 2 fingers on this left hand. Broken bones and ribs all over the body. I can barely move the shoulders. When I urinate, it hurts a lot. There is lots and lots of bleeding. For a week, they had to reroute my urinary tract so that I was urinating out of my left nostril. Sometimes I am urinating blood now. It's not uncommon at all. However, thankfully, things seem to be getting a bit better. I am taking lots of medicine. I suffered a great many head injuries. I don't know if you can see it, but I have a hematoma, which is a collection of blood. This hematoma that rests at the right topmost quadrant of my head is very large. It has been estimated to be the size of a very large and perfectly round apple. Unusual, it appears to be growing bigger, not smaller. It is called a growing hematoma, and it is very rare. It is believed by next week the hematoma, if it does not respond to the medicine, may eventually become the size of a basketball, and chas v'chalila may require surgery. My facial bones were broken, as you can see, as I was smashed repeatedly in the head by Abdul, the large stick that he had. The collection of blood around the eye sockets is most painful. The facial bones broke. I sat in the sun screaming until I was put in a coma when I was not screaming anymore. And hence I have a very red nose. Red, it is almost argaman, which is more of a scarlet. It is a color that our wonderful gay brethren in Artsot Habrit, the Artsot Habrit, they use this color. We're here, we're queer. It is their color in their marches. It is a provocative color, quite pretty, but it doesn't really belong on one's nose. However, I do not want you to think that this assault has changed Rabbi Lemming one iota. I am more committed to peace, and it made me look deeper into my own heart as to what flaws in my soul I may have had that warranted this attack. Furthermore, why was my love not so apparent? I do not blame Abdul. I blame myself. However, it will not stop me, and I would like to say there is some good news. Without getting crude, I would like you to know there was no penetration. That is all I will say. And that is good news. There might have been. Of course, it could have happened. However, the doctors do not believe it did. And so I do not have to go through that trauma again. There is tremendous dizziness and blurring, and I have developed a very strange problem. I now occasionally, sporadically have tics, and they are quite uncontrollable, although when I think of them, I must tick. Like when I say the word tick, it is not unlike Tourette's syndrome, although they do not believe that it will be permanent. However, I would like you to know that I have worked on smiling all week, and I now can do it again after not having any control over facial muscles. So, we are back! Baruch Hashem! I wanted to oh, there is one sad note. Abdul is no more. He beat me within an inch of my life and fled from my house. And I found out later that a steamroller rolled over him and made him flat as a pancake. Mamash, like a pancake. I cried when I woke out of my coma. Why? Why? For it was my fault. For you see, I know what caused Abdul to have such anger. He thought I was being sarcastic with him. In the house, in the kitchen, next to his cookies, I had a small pink piggy bank. Let me just readjust my facial stuffs. As I see, I am wearing pajamas. They're quite comfortable, and I have a pillow. There was a small piggy bank which I think upset his Islamic faith. For you see, he must have thought that the small piggy bank was there to mock him. And so, he smashed it and went after me. But I believe it was this that led to him assaulting me. Terribly, terribly. Flaxrod! Slicha. These tics can sometimes be quite frightening. Sometimes there are obscenities. However, they sound rather silly. Because for some unknown reason, instead of saying one word, I will say flak, schlit, flak schlit, blah 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 blah. It is the week before Rosh Hashanah, and how apropos after such a violent assault that I felt. I can relate to the dangers of fanaticism as I read in Haaretz about a wonderful friend of mine, Professor Ze'ev Sternheller of Peace Now. And unfortunately, some of the dark hearts in the Jewish camp who had adopted violence tried to blow him up with a pipe bomb. However, they did not succeed. They did not succeed. I have spoke with him. He is alive. Baruch Hashem, such a beautiful man. I know some of his words in the past have been misconstrued as supporting violence against Jewish settlers. It may sound like that, but I don't believe he really means it. I believe he really just is filled with such Rahmanut for Ishmaelim that perhaps he said things which may be construed as violence. I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. But this is not the way. This was never done. To attack a Yehudi like this harkens us back to the days of Rabin, when violent extremism in our own camp. And this, ow! Sorry. I banged the table, you see, a bit hard with my hand out of enthusiasm, and it hurt so much. Slicha. This is not the way. This is what we teach in yeshivot. This is the mitzvah of Shleimut Yisrael. To take a professor, a tenured professor, who has dedicated his life to love, and to try to maim him and kill him. This is not the way. This is the way of the Sikari. We reject that. This is not the way of Ohev Shalom v'Roidev Shalom. No, it is not. Once I regain the use of my legs again, it is believed I may actually walk within the month. Baruch Hashem, there was no spinal injury, although I was stumped so many times on my back. I am now wearing special sweatpants for comfort, and I have these wonderful sweatpants that I picked up Artzot HaBrit on vacation, and so I am very comfortable, and I am getting myself ready again to go out and show love to the world. Don't think this is filled with anger. No, I'm happy again. Lo yisagoyo gaycherev. Look what they tried to do, and look what they could not accomplish. I am here still. True, I see double and triple, and sometimes when I look in the mirror, there are 4 Rabbi Lemons. But I am alive! And like I said, there was no penetration. So I am back. I hope to give a shiur to my Talmidim, and I believe they will probably throw a special Sudat Hodah in my honor. I love parties. And we will sing Lo yisagoy el goy cherev, lo yilbentu od milchama, lo yisagoy el goy cherev, lo yilbentu od milchama, lo yisagoy el goy cherev, lo yilbentu od milchama, lo yisagoy el goy cherev, lo yilbentu od milchama. I believe Rav Amital might show up, and some other individuals that I hold very highly of. It is possible that many such figures will come. I know Yossi Sarid is coming. And Michael from Maimad also is believed to be coming. And I hope to get a singing telegram from Professor Sternhell, who is so excited that neither of our experiences with violence will deter us from our mission of bringing shalom. So I must go because I am feeling terribly dizzy, and the twitches are getting worse, and the headache is beginning to get to me, but I am happy. Shabbat shalom to all. Hopefully next time I won't have this hematoma. My looks may come back. And maybe there will be some more fingers. Maybe. Who knows? Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom.